right. Well, I actually didn't know, I don't think, and this is probably not a good thing for me to admit on this conversation, but I don't think that I realized that Jesus on his way to the temple did the fig tree thing, which I think transitions us really well into day 3, which is entitled Jesus Returns to the Fig Tree. And so I will be honest, I know the story, but I don't know quite the significance. And so if you guys could just, I'm sure there's people like me that are watching this that are like, okay, what? That's weird. Okay. Well, what is this story and what does it mean to Holy Week?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I think the thing of the matter is that when you look at a tree and you look at fruit, the purpose of fruit is that it bears a seed, and that seed would be something to be promoted into the next generation of trees. And so the fact of the matter is that Jesus has essentially said to this tree, you're done. And actually, prophetically, what happens in the people of God at this moment is Jesus is saying, we're done. We're done with the old, in with the new. This is my kingdom, and my kingdom is going to move forward the way that I want it to go. And if you're not going to promote my kingdom, I'm done with you. Yeah. And so I think they walk by, and I think it's Peter who says, dude, Jesus, what happened to this tree? And so like you walk on, and it really in most cases you just kind of move on, and you're like, okay, the tree is done.
Yeah, that's something that I do think is powerful about us taking time to study all of the Holy Week, which is nothing of that week is wasted. Right. So if God has been working from Genesis to literally this 7-day period. Right. So people have literally been chosen and elevated. Kingdoms have come and gone. Yeah. Prophets have been sent and released for the sake of this 7-day period. So why would God take the time to speak about a stupid tree on the side of the road? And I think the tree represents so many things. I do think it goes back to, the fruitfulness of our lives. I think it also comes to God's investment, because you got to think God created that tree, and God had intentions for that tree. And just like God had intentions for the kingdom of Israel, God also has intentions for the church. Yeah. And the question I do keeps coming to mind is, hey, what is your fruit looking like? Right. And are you bearing the fruit that God expects you to bear? Yeah. The scary part for me though is because we do think of Jesus like this meek and grace and all that stuff. But Jesus walks by and Jesus even looks at a branch and goes, hey, you're not accomplishing what I want you to. Right. Yeah. So move out the way.
Yeah, it just kind of makes me think of just imagine being a disciple and up to this point, you've seen this loving, maybe soft, kind man, which Jesus absolutely is the Lamb, but he's also the Lion of Judah. He's the Lamb of God, but he's also the Lion. So I just imagine myself, kind of walking behind Jesus and, everything's all good, big smile on my face. And then there's this tree just minding its own business, and he's like, be cursed. And you're like, what? Then you go to the temple, and he's like, just whipping stuff and knocking stuff over. And then you come back to that tree, and you're like, that thing is shriveled up and dead. But I think what's so cool is that people don't understand that the God that is fighting for us is not playing patty cake with toddlers in the back of your battle that you're fighting.
That's good.
We serve a God that is powerful enough to cleanse the temple. He's powerful enough to do anything that he wants to do, but yet he's soft enough to reach into the deepest places of our heart. And so I think that's what I think of when I think of these temple and the tree back to back, is just Jesus is not just a pushover.
Yeah.
He's a serious dude.
Yeah, Tuesday was a big day. His authority is questioned by the Pharisees. Right. He teaches in the temple. He's anointed at Bethany. This is all in one day. Oh, by the way, the fig tree withers up and dies. Right. And so all of these things Jesus is doing to establish there's a new order coming. And we alluded to that earlier. And I think, the fig in the Old Testament represents the nation of Israel. You can look at many different books. And the fig tree is pretty common all throughout the ancient landscape of that area. And so what Jesus is kind of doing is saying, hey, the old is gone. Where it was all about the people of Israel, Jesus came for all people. Right. And so he's about to open the door to every nation. And so what's amazing here is that this thing that represented Israel, he's not saying Israel's dead, but he's saying that the only people group that are invited to the table now. And then, of course, 70 years later, the temple is gone. So, all of these old systems, he's just dismantling one by one.